We are here today to fashion our modalities for peaceful coexistence to facilitate a successful 2025 farming season. I would like to begin, by commending the good people of Jos South and Riom for their remarkable commitment to peace and coexistence. Over the past few months, we have observed a decline in violent incidents in both local government areas and adjoining settlements. This was, however, shattered by events of the past few days, resulting in a loss of human lives, cattle rustling, outright thefts, and other criminalities. Operation Safe Haven will ensure that all perpetrators of these heinous activities are brought to book. I must express the concerns of security agencies about the prevailing acts of farm destruction and cattle rustling in parts of Riom local government area. These activities majorly contribute to the triggers of crisis and should be rightly condemned to foster mutual understanding and respect between herders and farmers. The ban on night and underage grazing is still in place. It is believed that this ban will greatly limit the number of farm destructions and allow individuals with certain level of maturity tend cattle. However, the impact of these activities on food security, economic stability, and social harmony cannot be overemphasized. We cannot afford to allow the destruction of farmlands and cattle rustling to continue, creating great tension in the area. In fact, it is a result of this that we're having this meeting here today. This was supposed to have taken place in Riom. We must therefore act together to ensure that Riom does not slide into avoidable conflicts. The farming season is already ongoing, and for many families, this is a period for securing livelihood. Therefore, any disruption of farming activities now will have dire consequences for the rest of the year and beyond. To this end, this engagement is convened to hear from you stakeholders and to listen to your concerns, jointly develop strategies, and reaffirm our shared commitment to peaceful coexistence. Jos South local government area has been remarkably peaceful, only with few security challenges, which have been adequately combated. However, all hands must continue to be on deck to sustain the tempo at which these challenges are being confronted. While we deliberate on the strategies for a peaceful farming season, permit me to reiterate the need to reinforce community-based conflict resolution mechanisms where traditional, religious, and community leaders must be at the forefront of dialogue between aggrieved parties. Also, the herding and farming communities must educate their wards on the need to take conscious steps against farm destruction and attack on cattle, as well as cattle poisoning, which are often the major crisis triggers. Additionally, all stakeholders could jointly develop and enforce a community-driven code of conduct for peaceful coexistence between farmers and herders, especially in Riom. Furthermore, stakeholders must improve early warning mechanisms to alert security agencies in a timely manner to enable swift response to security threats. I wish to appeal to the media to also act responsibly in their reportage. Sensational and unverified information will only induce tension. We must therefore use communication as a tool for peace building and not conflict escalation. Let me also remind all of you stakeholders that hostility is not the best way to resolve any crisis, but will only aggravate pain, destruction, and deep-seated hatred. In the course of history, even the most contracted conflicts in the world have only been resolved through dialogue, compromise, and reconciliation. We must acknowledge that in the course of undertaking our various socio-economic activities, conflicts are likely to arise. But we must understand one another, address grievances, and forge a common ground for peaceful coexistence. I therefore urge every community, every leader, and all stakeholders to embrace dialogue. Let us talk to one another rather than take up arms against each other. I am also aware that there are real grievances, some of which date back several years, while others are very recent. But no matter how genuine our grievances may be, violence is not the answer. Retaliation will only increase violence and reprisals, which could degenerate into vicious cycles of violence. Let me also make this point abundantly clear. Security agencies are not deployed to take sides, but to enforce peace, uphold justice, and to protect every law-abiding citizen, irrespective of tribe, religion, or political affiliation. Our loyalty is to the Constitution and all of you citizens of Nigeria. However, security is a collective responsibility, as security agencies cannot be everywhere at the same time. We therefore depend on you for timely information and your cooperation. You must be willing to provide information on the activities of criminal elements hibernating in our various communities to enable security agencies take decisive action. May I also use this opportunity to reassure you that Operation Safe Haven will continue to employ both kinetic and non-kinetic lines of operation to safeguard the lives and property in the joint operations area. We will continue to clear criminal elements from their hideouts and maintain increased patrols to identified flashpoints in conjunction with other security agencies. Nonetheless, these efforts must be matched with sincerity from all of you as critical stakeholders. Permit me to also state that the major triggers I have noticed over time are farm destruction, which is rampant, cattle thefts, cattle rustling, and illegal mining. In the case of cattle thefts, we sometimes see some cows are isolated and they are butchered and taken away to be sold. That is wrong, and we are going to go after that people. Mining currently is banned in the states, and yet we have a lot of people still carrying out illegal mining. We have been arresting the people who have been seen, but it's part of the crisis. And because we know that the troops will arrest people during the day, we have resorted to mining at night. And because we are mining at night, all those miners are also having issues because they are being attacked at night. Additionally, because some places that have been delineated for grazing and farming, mining is also being carried out in those areas, and people from both parties are now going to those areas to attack these miners. In the first instance, the miners are not supposed to be there. They are mining illegal minerals which are in commercial value, and that is one of the greatest things that is causing our problems today. And we have to sit down and fashion out a way forward. Because it is easy to say these are the issues that are causing our problems, but mining has become one of the major issues. And if we think back to when we had our issues in the Niger Delta with oil, having people carrying out illegal bunkering and crude oil thefts, that is what has crept into the Plateau State now and is part of what we are dealing with. This is also one of the major crisis triggers which we must address. I will therefore conclude this address by reiterating that peace is not a favor we do for one another, but it is a necessity for collective survival. The future will remain a mirage if we do not act decisively today. We owe it to our children to leave behind a legacy of peace and not war. We also owe it to ourselves to rise above hatred and embrace the bonds of brotherhood and sisterhood. I therefore charge all of you to leave this gathering today with a renewed sense of urgency because the time for action is now. On this note, I declare this stakeholders. On this note, I declare this stakeholders engagement open, and I look forward to fruitful deliberations that will bring us closer to our shared goals of lasting peace. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
May we please put our hands once again for the GOC and Commander Operation Safe Haven for his welcome remarks, and also
for the wonderful work they have been doing. I know it has not been easy for you to work under command, to work under decree, and to go with the people, even when you know that quite sure our minds are not the same. They have pointed out so many things here that has baffled us on the plateau. I am just called to give my remarks, but I want to say here that if we are all human beings, we have to judge our conscience. We know in the history of people living on earth, you cannot completely wipe out a community or an ethnic group. Even the Rwanda genocide that we know, they were unable to do that. So why will you kill your fellow human being? If we have had this as a conscience within us, then there is no any single reason as to why we should fight. So I want to call on any other person here, as we begin this engagement, we should dialogue in such a way that we bring solution to this land. We have done this for quite some times. But once we leave this place, you will see crisis spark again. We have had some times where even when we were at the venue of the engagement, fire is at home. I want to say that for the sake of the land, we the stakeholders, when we continue to shield this criminal within us, then I don't think our coming here will be a result. I remember the last time we have this engagement when the former commander is going, Sector 6. This man has done very, very well. I commend him for doing that, Colonel Fabwemi. We had issues whereby somebody stood up and was defending a particular tribe that they have been labeled as if they are the unwanted people on earth. But when he illustrated and said some of the events with facts, he was ashamed of himself there. So I want people whereby, if you know that that thing is like that, bring it the way it is. Let's not continue to shield people, and I don't think that will help us. Thank you very much as we are continuing with this. May God help us to say the truth and bring out the truth. Thank you very much.
I found it very difficult to, speak, because I so much believe that when you continue doing the same thing, you always have the same result. Seriously, somebody said something here. We must speak the truth, and that is the only thing that will set us free. If we continue lying to ourselves, gathering like this, gathering upon gatherings, we always have the same result because we are not saying the truth. Seriously, I have issue with the fact that people are tagging this as conflict. Conflict is a clash, and clash will have a particular variable you are clashing on. You have a particular thing you are clashing on. Okay, the various variables are land, as in farmers, cows, and possibly mining. I'm not even talking about mining. We have farmers, we have herders. What is the clash here? Are we clashing about farms or clashing about, cows? The issue here is this. We must say the truth. And that is the only thing that will set us free. Just like the last speaker said, he said we have one land, and that one land belongs to all of us, and nobody will pursue anybody in this land because this land belongs to all of us. Is that the truth? We must tell ourselves the truth. The world is one. We have several continents. From the continents, we have countries. From the countries, we have states. From the states, we have local governments. From the local governments, we have districts. We have down to the wards, down to houses and families. These places belong to certain people. Your family does not belong to me. Your family is your family. My family is my family. We must tell ourselves the truth. If we are not saying the truth, this is how we will continue. Well, the country allows everybody to live everywhere, but we must live in harmony. By the time you are living in a Yoruba land, the Yoruba people have their cultures, they have their way of life. You must abide by them, by their ways, their norms and value in order to live peaceful in the Yoruba land. Same with every other nationality. Like in Plateau State, we have over 50 nationalities, languages. So, we must tell ourselves the truth. I don't have anything much to say here, but the major thing is that we must tell ourselves the truth in order for us to live at peace. To have peace, we must say the truth. Because if we continue lying to ourselves, this is how we'll be gathering all the time. Always we'll be gathering like this, and we'll be happy.
Concerning meetings such as this, I think it is very, very important, especially in times such as this. My point that I've observed from what has been said earlier on, one of the persons that spoke here said that we really need to know the problem before it is being tackled. And I believe we already know the problem, just that we don't want to do the right thing. And sometimes when doing the right thing, we do it at the wrong time. And I think diligence and proactiveness should be employed in order to be able to achieve this. A lot of those things, I think the GOC has spoken about them. I don't need to state them down. And some have also made mention of such. And I am pleading on behalf of us all, because the church is for everyone. I am pleading that we go back after this and do what is right. I want to still add that in dealing with these issues, we have, as a people, to be just in our actions, be just in our dealings with one another. If you love your life, another person loves his. The issue is been that that herders and farmers clash. The herder and the farmer, or he who farm crops, they are all farmers. The other person is farming in livestock, the other one in crops. So I think since we all need to live together, then we have to be justified in our actions. Should something happen, we have law, and the land has laws. Sometimes we don't want to observe the people that are actually have the authority to deal with issues. Sometimes we tend to take laws into our hands, and I think it is very, very bad. Very, very bad indeed. We have the security agents, agencies around. If there's anything, report to them. Many times we hold meetings and we learn that when things happen, they are not reported. And to back the person that says we should not shield criminals. I pray that after this meeting, we will do the needful. And it is said that peace can only be where justice prevails. If there is no justice, there can never be peace. Somebody said, he said, give me peace, and that is all. I mean, give me justice, and that is all. And where there is justice, be rest assured, there will be peace. And I want to ask the GOC. Sometimes you will have security personnel in a place, and something happens. It becomes very difficult for them to access the area. So I think they need to be equipped adequately for prompt action. And lastly, I want to talk about the respect for life. Nobody has the right to take any person's life. You don't even have the right in Nigeria to take anything that does not belong to you, to talk of a person's life. This is my prayer, that we will respect our lives. Should there be anything, report it. And see that we all need to coexist together so that we will be able to achieve the meaningful lives that God has placed us on earth. How many days does men have? We only have but few years. And yet, since when we started, I think, for more than 30 years now, we have been struggling. Which means a child that is giving birth in such a way, he don't know what life is all about. He thinks life is all about violence. And I believe that this sitting can change that. I believe that Plateau, or let me say, just South and Riom local government will be peaceful, and our security personnel will also have time to rest if we will try to do that which is good and have respect for one another. Permit me to stop here. I pray that after all is done, we will all return home safely, but doing what will bring glory to God. Thank you very much.
Ka kira mitin nan domin a zauna lafiya. To, mu da aka kiran muna son a zauna lafiya. Kaga tambayan da ya kamata a tambaye mu kenan. Dalilin da ya sa na faɗi haka, na ga rikicin Jos ya kai shekara 20 da wani abu. Amma har yanzu wai ba a zauna lafiya ba. Ba a san masu yin laifin ba ne, ko kuma mutanen ba na wannan jiha ba ne. Na farko, a je a kashe mutane, wanda suka kashe mutane je su zauna a gidajensu lafiya. A kashe dabbobi, wanda suka kashe dabbobi su je su zauna a gidajensu lafiya. Su sace wasu ma'aci. Wasu mutane ana.
I stand here with great dismay for what is happening on the plateau and Riom in particular. My eyes are filled with tears for what is happening, the ugly happening. I want to commend the security. For all this while, we've been having numerous of these meetings just to see that peace come to stay on the plateau. But I want to thank the GOC for saying today is not going to be just another meeting. And I believe today's meeting will not just be another meeting. when we say the truth, then peace will come. I think it is good to identify the problem before we proffer solutions. In a research, you will first of all identify the problems. Let me say, let's make a research to know who is troubling who. Because sometimes when you come and meet two of your children fighting, and you just start beating them and ask them to go without sitting them down and asking them how it started, then I think you will continue doing that time without number. I am standing here representing the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Rion, LGA. I also doubles as the Vice CAN Chairman, Plateau North. It marvels me and it pains me when most of these things happens during Christians' events. One of it was that of the Eve of Bacchus. And it even happens here in Rion, the eve of our last year Christmas. In fact, we held a security meeting on a Saturday, and I personally stood up and I appealed that that which happened in Bacchus on Christmas Eve will never repeat itself elsewhere. And to my dismay, I said that thing on a Saturday, and the early day of the next day, there was a serious attack. Christmas Eve. And the recent one that is happening now in Rion started during Easter. Why Easter and why Christmas? Let's make a research. Who is troubling who? Wisdom will tell you, like the King Solomon in the Bible. Two of the women brought a complaint. One of the child is dead already, and all of them are claiming the living one. Everyone says the living child is mine and the dead one is not my own. And Solomon applied his wisdom and said, let's bring knife and cut this one so that all of you will miss. And the older person that baby does not belong to her said, yes, let it be so. Plateau State is known as the home of peace and tourism. In fact, I'm over 50s now, and I know how we grew with our neighbors, the Fulanis. We were playing together, living together, doing things together. But I don't know, along the line, why this thing now? So let's make a research to know. And this will help us to proffer a lasting solution. Somebody that will leave his community, go into another community and attack that community. Let's fish out. Let's know who is that person. It's all about research. It's who. So when we do that, we will bring lasting solution. But when we continue to deceive ourselves, I don't think. Even among the stakeholders, so-called, there are bad egg among them. The ones that are fueling this problem. Let me use, in fact, I thank God for just the ardor of Bachi that just took his seat now. We are in a security meeting with him, and he always tells us the best he's doing in his own community so that people can live in peace. He was even asking, why is it that his own domain and others, these things are not happening? In fact, he said, why just Riom district? If others will do what you are doing, this thing will not continue like this. So let's fish the bad egg even among the stakeholders. Sometimes even among the security. I thank you because, in fact, you are doing your best. But there are also some bad eggs. Because some of the stories we are receiving, some of the news we receive, like the attack of Gidan Adode, is, in fact, they say the people has been apprehended. Then in our security meeting, I even asked, I say, who are those people? Can you tell us the people? So sometimes, let's fish out the bad egg among us so that there shall be what? Lasting peace here on the plateau. Thank you and God bless you all.
To be at this meeting because what we want is peace. Peace that we have been wishing for a long time. This crisis started, we all know, about 25 years ago. And this crisis has persisted. It's not that we don't know what to do, but some people don't want to do the right thing. When this crisis started, the lands of the farmers were grabbed, taken away from them. And the herders took over those lands, even built on the lands that they grabbed. That time there was no law against land grabbing in Plateau State that was enacted. So those lands, as I'm talking now, they're still not in the hands of the farmers. And the farmers cannot dare to go and cultivate those lands. In fact, to the extent that they have gone ahead to erect houses on those lands, even on some of the foundations of the owners of those lands. Those are some of the things that happen. And the genesis of crisis, let me tell you the genesis, it starts from a simple thing. Now, from land destruction, farmland destruction. And you know somebody whose land has been destroyed. After your effort, you have put in all effort, you have spent all your fortune to bring up that piece of land and to grow your crop. Then crops are destroyed. Where do you start from? That is where the problem starts. And because of, retaliation, some people are so agitated that they want to retaliate. They want to revenge, reprisal. That is what happens. And that is what will make these issues to escalate. If farmlands are not grazed upon, I think it will reduce a lot of these issues that we're having. And so what happens is that grazing land is not farmland. If you are to graze where you're supposed to graze. Don't come near farmland where crops are growing. Because the issue is, you cannot say the cows will stray into the farmlands and destroy the farmers' farms. Therefore, I just pray that the herders will be more careful. And people have mentioned here, one of the problems is underage grazers. You give a small child, maybe a herd of 50, 100 cows to go and graze. That child, you know how playful small kids can be. He will go there and just allow the cows to stray and go into the farmlands. That is where one of the problems come. Another one, as we have said here, is night grazing. Night grazing. And when you report, they'll say, did you catch the person who grazed into your farmland? How will you not sleep? You go and be watching over your farm in the night? If night grazing can be stopped completely, it will help a lot. And the issue is, like now during the dry season, the farmers have gone to cultivate their dry season farms. That is where they depend on to get revenue so that they will buy inputs for their farming during the farming season. But when those crops are destroyed, some of them are the point of harvest. Some of them even they have already reached harvesting period. Then they are destroyed. You see, this is provocative. And sometimes people can act irrationally. The farmer will not think, he will just think about, my farmland has been destroyed. What do I do about it? He will not go, probably he sees some cows around there. He will maybe go and injure the cows or kill. And that is where the problem escalates. And I want to appeal. If the herders are going to take their cows for grazing, please avoid residential areas. Not only that, we have residential areas, we have some sacred places that we will not want cows to go in there. But those are the places that they will go. I remember there was a time in Lyon that we carried out an exercise and demarcated, told the herders they should not go beyond this point, because if they go beyond that point, it's going to cause problems. And that is what has been causing problem, really. If they don't graze into the homes, some of them even right to inside the homes. For example, there were some cattle that were apprehended just less than 2 weeks ago in the night, in the homes. They were grazing in the night. In the night, around 10 o'clock, 9, 10 o'clock in the night. Thank God the farmers were okay that time. They just gathered the cows and called these rangers, agro rangers, and they came and carried the cows away. Thank God there was no problem that night. So what I'm saying is, if we can observe some of these things, that the herders will not go into the farmlands and close to homes, a lot will be avoided. Nobody will, if they are grazing in the bush, nobody will ever go near. And one other thing is this. Let me tell you, this grazing, when the herders are grazing, you know, sometimes they could be provocative. What will come out of their mouth is not palatable. And you see, these are some of the things that will raise temper. So that is where problems start. If we can keep away from these farmlands and graze where we are supposed to, there will be no issues. No problems will occur. But when we go close to the farmlands, you know, some of the youths, a youth, he is always too proactive. He will do something that he will regret doing later. So why not avoid this thing? Grace where it will not bring any controversy. That is one of the things that I want to say. And we have come for a meeting like this. It's not everybody from Lyon that is here. It's not everybody from the farmer's side that are here or from the herder's side. We that are here, when we go back, let's step down the information we got from here, so that those that are not here will know what we have discussed. It's peace that we are talking about here. Those that are not here don't know what we are saying here. But when we go back, please, let's step down this information. We have been with herders. People have mentioned it. I had friends among the herders. We'll go to their homes. We'll go and take the food, and they will come during Christmas and take food in your house. What has happened now? That we have now become enemies to each other. Let us learn. Let us learn to tolerate one another. Without tolerance, we cannot live in peace. Because there's no how I will not offend you. And there's no how you cannot offend me. But let's learn to forgive one another so that we can live together. have said all that I need to say because people have said a lot of things here. I will not want to talk much. I will just be repeating. So my appeal is that let us be our brother's keeper.
Why? If my heart to hear, say, okay, we are managing it in Mbachi. And probably Ganauri is managing it too. I wonder why we cannot manage it in Riom equally. I think leadership there should be looked into. Definitely, crisis breeds other issues. Social, we have kidnapping now. Our road from Bachi, in particular from Makera to Bachi, is a dead trap. People are attacked. It didn't used to be the case, but thieves, robbers, kidnappers have taken over these roads. We have appealed severally, how do we manage the situation? There has been no solution up till today, but we have continued to manage the situation. We appeal that these issues should be looked into. While we appreciate what government is doing and new innovations of securities, like we have new people after the police, you have the blue policemen and agro rangers as such. Let them really be deployed to the erring areas while farming is a necessity. They should be there to check out these menaces of crop damages. Because if not, it will ruin the economy of the local government, the state, and the entire nation. We also wish that the security should be more proactive to checking out
community. And as it is being stated that you have to know what the problem is and also the solution for that particular problem. Honestly, we in GEL, or the entire Birom nation, we are so much in pain with what has been happening, because this is not the first time. We in GEL, or the entire Birom nation, we are so much in pain with what has been happening, because this is not the first time. The one at the back was shot. The three narrowly escaped. But we are here saying that it is thief. That is being done by a thief. We are not trying to push blames on a particular tribe or to the Fulani people. But with what has been happening, the land is there, the bushes are there. You are the one that come to our own territory. And we are not going to start fighting our friends or ourselves as a Birom man. You came to our place, and we all know that this has been happening almost every time. For the past 2 years, we've lost almost 4 people in GEL district, and they are being killed by the same Fulani people. The reason why I'm saying this thing here is that the more the Fulani man understand that he is not in his own territory, he should abide by the rules and regulations, or to abide, or to let him tend to love the people of that particular district, then all these things will not happen. I'm begging and pleading that we are peace-loving people in our district. We don't want a situation that today they will kill one of us and they expect the people to be calm. With what happened, the issue of the rustling or the killing of cows, it's just like a reprisal attack. The moment there's no such kind of act, someone is not being killed, someone's farm is not being destroyed, all those things will not happen. In order for us to embrace peace, please, let's stay out of all those acts. I want to use this opportunity to commend that's the GOC, Sector 3, Sector 6, and also the DPO of Bukuru, who honestly, in their own effort, they come and give a swing action and rescue a lot of dangers that were supposed to occur. I really want to appreciate them for that. And I want to encourage our people that what has happened, please, let's all maintain peace and unity within ourselves. Let's not allow issues to separate us from one another. Thank you, and God bless us all.
Mu na tsaro DOC na wannan jiha, ganin abubuwa da suke faruwa a jihar Plateau, ya kira wannan taro domin mu zo mu tattauna, mu ba mu juna shawarwari don tabbatar da zaman lafiya. To muna roƙon Allah wannan yunkuri da yayi Allah ya taimake shi. Mu kuma da muka zo, Allah ya ba mu ikon faɗin abin da ya dace da a tabbatar da zaman lafiya. Abin da nake so in faɗa abuwa ne a takaice kamar guda uku. Kamar yadda shugaban matasa na wannan ƙaramar hukumar Jos ta Kudu na Birom ya ambata, zaman lafiya ya ta'allaka ko ya dogara ga yadda mu muke son a zauna lafiya. Na tabbata dukkanmu da muka zo nan, duk wanda ya zo da nufin ya ba da shawara kuma ya yi aiki da abin da ya faɗa, in dai da gaske yake a zuciyarsa, to in Allah yadda waɗannan abubuwa za su tabbata. Babban abin da yake damunmu, sai mutum ya zo ya ce kaza da kaza da kaza, amma na baki ne kawai, amma bai kai ga zuciyar shi ba. Wannan ba zai kai mu ga tabbatar da zaman lafiya ba. Wannan ƙasa tamu, shugaban ƙasa Allah ya taimake shi, gwamnan jihar Plateau Allah ya taimake shi, suna iyaka ƙoƙarinsu da jami'an tsaro na a zauna lafiya. To amma babban damuwar waɗanda suke tare da waɗanda suke tada fitina, kamar suwa, misali a ce sarakunanmu, limamanmu, fastoci, shugabannin matasa. To da za a haɗa kai lalle a zauna a lalubo menene matsalar, don in ba a san ciwo ba bara a san maganin shi ba. Me matsalar da take faruwa zaman lafiya ya gagara, kaza da kaza da kaza. Yanzu babban abin da yake faruwa, kamar yadda shi mai girma GOC ambata, satar dabbobi, kashe dabbobi, tonan kuza, kai hare-hare, a kashe mutane haka kawai ba ji ba gani, wanda yake dukkan mu a addinan nan mu guda biyu, musulunci da kiristanci, dukkan addinai ne wanda kowa yana tunanin yana yi ne don Allah ya bashi lada, kuma addininsa daga Allah ne. To in ko da haka da gaske kake yi, kashe ɗan adam mutum, ka kashe mutum ɗaya, kowa ya sani a cikin attaura ma, littafin da Allah ya saukar annabi Musa alaihi salam, ya ce wanda ya kashe rai ɗaya faka annama qatalan nasa jami'a, kamar wanda ya kashe rai ne gaba ɗaya, kashe duniya. Rai ɗaya, wanda ya raya rai ɗaya kamar wanda ya raya duniya ne gaba ɗaya. To in dai addini da gaske kake yi, ka kashe wa Allah bawansa, me za ka je ka gaya masa ranar alkiyama? Da wani dalili? Baka da wannan dalili, baka da wannan hujjan. Don haka ne shawarin da zan bayar a takaice, ina kira ga mai girma gwamnan jihar Plateau, wannan yunkuri da ike son na tabbatar da zaman lafiya, domin in ba zauna lafiya a jihar Plateau ba, ta yaya ma zai yi mulkin? Ya kafa kwamiti na peace na musamman wanda za su rika zama akai-akai da waɗanda abin ya shafa, makiyaya da manoma da sarakuna da malamai da fastoci, a rika zama duk abin da ya taso a yi ƙoƙari a magance. Sannan na biyu, duk wanda aka kama shi da laifin ya saci dabbobi ko ya kashe dabbobi ko ya kai hari, a ga an yi hukunci a zahiri, an hukunta shi. Domin rashin yin hukuncin, kowa ya abin da ya gana ma shi yake ja waɗannan musibu. Allah ka kiyaye. Na uku, dukkanmu mu yadda za mu zauna tare. Ƙasan nan dai guda ɗaya ce. Sannan duk inda muke dai baka yi saka kore ni, mani ba zan kore ka ba. Ƙasa ta Allah ce, ba wanda ya sai kori wani. In ka ce a kai ba za ka zauna lafiya da makwabcinka ba, da abokin zamanka ba, to ka jawo ma kanka fitina, ba inda kuma kai ma za ka samu nutsuwa. In makiyayi ne ba ta inda za ka samu ka yi kiwo hankalinka a kwance. In manomi ne ba ta inda za ka yi noma hankalinka a kwance, ga damuna tana karatowa. To dole ne mu yadda wannan ƙasa Allah ya haɗa mu, ba mai koron wani, ba wanda zai tursa samu wani, mu zauna lafiya tsakaninmu. Muna fata Allah ya taimake mu, wannan zama Allah ya tabbatar da alkhairi, abubuwan da za mu tattauna Allah ya tabbatar da alkhairi. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Cikin komai in ba zaman lafiya to komai ba rai gudana ba. Mai girma jihosi Allah ya taimake ka, mai girma sarkin fang namu Allah ubangiji kara maka lafiya, sauran sarakunan mu da sauran jami'an tsaro Allah ubangiji kara mana lafiya da zaman lafiya. Kamar yadda shi mai girma GOC ya bude taro, kamar yadda na fahimta wannan taro ne na makiyaya da manoma, ta nan ne ake samun damuwoyi, wannan gaskiya ne. Kuma ya kara da faɗin cewa lokaci na noma ya gabato, wanda a lokuta ne da ake samun damuwoyi nan da can. A gaskiya mu Jos South ko kuma ce Jos ta Kudu, a kashin gaskiya sai mu kara wa Allah godiya yanda shugabanninmu da sarakunanmu suke ƙoƙari idan abu ya taso, musamman shugabannin kananan hukumominmu, nan da nan su kira mu su zaunar da mu a jawa juna kunne, sa'annan a fahimci juna. Wannan babban abin farin ciki ne a Jos South. Biye da haka wallahi zaman lafiya bare taɓa inganta ba in babu adalci. Abin da bature ke ce ma justice. Mafi yawan lokuta mu yan uwan Fulani musamman mazauna Jos South muna iya abin da za mu iya yi domin mu ga an zauna lafiya. Kuma wallahi ni a matsayina na R na do Zones har yau ban ji inda mu Fulanin Jos South mun je mun yi ramakon abin da ya faru da mu ba, sai dai muna kira ga shugabannin tsaro, hukumomin tsaro su yi abin da ya dace. In su yi su da Allah, in ba su yi ba mun bar su da Allah, Allah shine komai. Because akwai abubuwan da suka taso kwanan nan wanda ya kamata a lura da su. Ni haifafen Jos South ne, kuma har yau ina nan zaune a Jos South. Akwai kanina Adamu Lamido wanda shi yana zama a nan Rayfield, a nan aka haife shi, baban shi a nan ya rasu, wanda shi wakili na ne wanda yake lura da nan Rayfield. Wani abun bakin ciki ya faru da mu, yaronmu ne aka kashe, aka masa yankan rago. Tare da taimakon Allah da jami'an tsaro muka je muka ɗauki wannan gawar da shanu waɗanda aka ɗayan ma an feɗe an tafi da sauran naman, sai ɗan guntun da ya rage. Ga inda abu ya faru, abun mamaki, abun tsoro. Shi wakili na wanda ina ɗaya daga cikin waɗanda nake buga kirji da shi, wanda wallahi ko da shanu za su yi barna ba a san waye ne ya yi barnan ba, Adamu yakan cire kuɗin aljihunsa wallahi ya ba manomi. Amma abun mamaki sai ya zamana shi ne kuma muna zaman makoki, shi ne kuma wanda yake hannun hukuma. To abun mamaki har yau ba mu ji menene ake tuhumarsa da shi ba. Mai laifi kowaye shi muna goyon baya 100% a je a kai shi hukuma a hukunta shi a kan laifin da ya yi, wanda mu ma za mu san wani da ya yi laifi kaza an hukunta shi. Amma a kama shugaba kamar wannan a wuri kamar wannan, illan da abun zai jawo a wannan wurin wallahi babba ne. Ba zan manta ba, akwai OC na du ya kira mu ba da dadewa ba, Ardo muna da zama, Fulani sun shigo, noma ya kawo kai. A kan cikin wannan abun sai gashi an ɗauki min ba na ɗaya kenan. Na biyunsa, abu ya taso a Jos South kwanan nan as a result of kamar yadda nake ji, an kashe mai tonon kuza, an tafi da kuzan. Sakamakon wannan abun shanukai har da rai an rasa, wanda ba a yi bincike menene asalin musabbabin wannan kashe wannan aikin kuza ba. Ina tunani a matsayina na Bafulatani, a nan aka haife ni tun turawa suna aikin kuza har turawa suka bar kasan nan, wallahi ina da wayo na. Yau in ka bani kuza haka ban san yadda zan yi da ita ba, amma inda za ka bani madara kofi ɗaya, wallahi na san yadda zan sarrafa shi da iyalaina. To wani bafulatani ne ya san cewa wannan mutum ya fito kuza? Kai jami'an tsaro akwai aiki babba a gaban ku. Shi yasa na ce adalci, a bincike shi da waye ne ke wurin da har ya ce Fulani ne suka aikata wancan aikar. Ya aka cewa Fulani ne suka yi aika nan. To mu so samu ne, in ma Fulani ne suka aikata wannan, wallahi ba mu da ja a kama su a hukunta su, amma a bi bincike menene sassalan abu kafin a ɗauki doka a hannu. Mai girma jihosi, abinda zai kawo zaman lafiya a ƙasar nan wallahi abubuwa kamar guda 3. Abu na farko, kaga lauyoyinmu Allah ya sa suna nan. Abu na biyu, kaga alkalanmu Allah ya sa suna nan. Personally mun kama barayi red handed wanda za mu kai su court. Police za su yi binciken su gama, DPO endorsing. In aka je ana shiga court, lawyer yana bayan barawo. Kai complainant kafin ka je gida, barawon ka ya riga ya tafi gida. Me za ka yi da ni na dawo? So idan akwai yanda za a yi tsakanin lauyoyinmu da alkalanmu, wallahi a gyara. Duk wanda aka kai shi gaban hukuma an tabbatar da ya yi laifi, wallahi a hukunta shi, sauran za su daina. Amma in ba haka aka yi ba, a kai mai laifi kotu kafin ka dawo shi ya dawo, to masu laifin na fa sai dai su karu. Daga karshe gaskiya ina yi babban godiya wa shi mai girma Dagoren Van, wanda yana kokari sosai a maganan zaman lafiya a wannan jiha ma ba a wannan karamar hukuma ba. Mai girma shugaban karamar hukumar mu na farko, wallahi shi ma na gode mishi sosai. Allah ubangiji ya taimake mu Jos South, Allah ya sa mu zauna lafiya. Na gode.
Pajok Boat. I am the leader of the 5 districts in Jos South local government, that is Builder. I would prefer to speak in Hausa. To na gaishe ku duka da kasancewa, kuma mun gode ma organizers na wannan security meeting din. Mun tabbata cewa kowane lokaci idan damuwa ta tashi, mata da yara su aka fi cuta. Da yawa yanzu a cikin local government namu mun riga mun sami widows wanda sun fi karfin a kirga, kuma ta dalilin damuwa da suke tasowa a cikin kasa. Ana samun kidnappers, ana samun kishe-kishe a gurare daban-daban. Yanzu ba dama mutum ya ce zai je gurin noma ko gona shi kadai, ko kun je da yawa din ma ba tabbacin cewa za a sami a dawo gida lafiya. Abinda muke so mu faɗa a nan a madadin mata shine, idan gaskiya ta zo a faɗi gaskiya. Idan an tarar da wani lalura, duk mutane da aka samu su da hannu a ciki a tabbatar da cewa an hukunta su. Amma in aka kama mutum, za ka ga cewa daga baya an zo an sake ki domin yana da babba a gaba. To kaga wannan mutumin da ya riga ya yi wannan la'ani zai sake komawa ne, domin ya san akwai wanda zai fidda shi. Idan muka cire zuciya aka ce yaro na ya yi abu, na tabbata kuma wannan abu da yaro ya yi ba daidai ba ne, dole ne in faɗi gaskiya, ba zan rufe mishi asiri ba, domin baka san me zai sake yi gobe ba. An ce ka haifi ɗa, baka haifi zuciyan yaro ba. So idan dukanmu da muke zama za mu nuna, idan yaro na ne ba zan ce saboda yare na ne sai ce zan rufe ba. Idan muka faɗi gaskiya, duk wannan abubuwan da muke gani za a daina su. Na duba sojojinmu da security dai musamman suna fita waje, ana zuwa peacekeeping. Ba maganar kuɗin da ake samu a gurin bane, amma suna kawo zaman lafiya a kasashen da suke fita. To me yasa a gida mu da ake kirari da mu a kasan waje akan security, sai a gida kuma sai ya gagare mu? Mu duba wannan guri. Gaskiya mata suna kuka sosai, yara na zaune. Yanzu kaga widows da muke da su, ma ka duba shekarun widows, kaga mutum yana da shekara 20, shekara 10 a ce wai ya zama widow. wani irin widow ne wannan? So muna roƙon maza su duba wannan gurare, domin idan ba za su yi ba, mata za su tashi, gaskiyan shine wannan. Don mun gaji da kuka, muna barin yara, ka haifi yaro kana tsammanin yaro zai zo rike maka future, sai a zo a tarar cewa ana kashe mana ya'ya matasa. Wannan din bai dace ba. Idan Fulani ne yayi abu, an tabbatar Fulani ne yayi abu, a fitar a hukunta. Idan Birom ne yayi abu, an tabbatar shi ne yayi abu, a fitar a hukunta. In za a yi hukunci kuma a daina duban fuska. To duk wannan abubuwa idan muka duba zai taimaka mana sosai a cikin zaman lafiya. Tun daman zamanin kakanninmu mun sani cewa ana zaman tarayya, ba wanda ya sa irin wannan munafinci a cikin zuciya. Amma yanzu ana zaman doya da manja, ana faɗa da baki amma ba haka ake aikatawa ba. Ni kuma roƙon da nake so yi zuwa security agency shine, don Allah wannan mitin da aka kira yana da kyau, amma abu guda ɗaya shine wa'inda abin ya shafa a je gurin a tabbatar da cewa an yi mitin tare da su, an kuma tantance an gani me ya faru, yaya za a yi a hukunta. Amma mu da muke zaune a cikin gari abin bai shafe mu yadda muke tsammanin ba. Amma idan ana kiran irin wannan mitin din, a same su a local government din a gurin, a tabbatar da cewa abin da ya yi a hukunta wanda za a hukunta. Sannan gurare kuma da aka kwakwace wa mutane, kana ce min in zauna lafiya, an fitar da ni waje ba inda zan zauna, ba ni da masuguni, kuma ina kallon gidana, ina kallon gona na ana amfani da shi, ina wannan zaman lafiyan zai samu? So mu rika faɗa wa juna gaskiya, abin da ya dace wa mutum a bashi abin da yake nashi, wanda ba nashi bane a kwace a bashi. Ina ji ba da dogon surutai ne za mu yi ba, mun san gaskiya a aikata gaskiya shine kawai, kuma mu koyi zaman lafiya tare da juna. Domin Allah da ya haɗa mu yarurruka daban-daban, ba wai shi bai san abin da yake ba, kuma ba wanda zai ma Allah faɗa. So mu bar wannan, kada mu dinga rudin kanmu ba. Mu namu bukatun shine a ban mu zauna lafiya da yaranmu, ƴaƴanmu su tafi makarantu. Don da yawa yanzu ka tarar ana makaranta yara ba sa makarantu, kauyuka an riga an kwace gurin masugunin su, to yaya za a yi? So namu rokon kenan a matsayin mu na mata, muna roka a mayar mu mutum abin da yake nashi gida, mu samu shiga freely zuwa ƙauyukan mu shiga freely, mu sake fita freely, a yi gona a sake yin amfani da shi a cikin kwanciyar lafiya. Don yawancin lokaci zaka gan ana wannan rikici sai an yi harvest ko kuma an gama yin gonaki, an siya taki, kayi komai, ga kowa ya san da taki yake da wahala, sai a zo a tarar da cewa kuma an lalata wayannan abubuwa, ko kuma a ce shanukai an dauka. Don mu ba mu yadda ba a dauki abun, ko Bible ma ya hana, ba a daukan ganima irin wannan. Kai ka je ka tayar da masifa kuma ka sake ka ce kana daukan ganima, wace irin ganima ce waccan? So abin da ba naka ba mu guje shi. In ka ga abin dan uwanka ka kebe shi, in ka ga wanda ba naka ba ka sake shi. Ina ji namu rokon kenan da muke son mu yi wa security, especially a rika zuwa wannan kauyuka a kira
issues. We need to look for the solution. First of all, we have 8 corpses now lying down in Riom. Just yesterday, houses were burned, severally are injured. No arrest was made. And we will not come and be talking that we have been attacking. History has been on record that no Riom youths have ever, for once, go for an attack. It's there on record. But on a daily basis, we wake up every blessed day, we see our youths being attacked. And I want to call on the security agencies to look onto this immediately. And I want to say, we have several issues again that even if it is being reported, nothing is being done about it. Nothing is being done about it. No arrest, nothing. And we'll be sitting down quietly thinking all is well. All is not well. We need to call upon these people that are making all these attacks. We sit down around table and then iron this thing out once and for all. I'm still calling on the security agencies, the people that knows the law very well, should tell us what are the repercussions for rape. What are the repercussions for rapes? Our women, our children, underage,
will go to the riverside to go and fetch water or look for firewood. And then they will be raped. Even if those people are being apprehended, nothing is being done about it. Follow the case. When we
Dagon jail. Jos South comprises of 5 districts, which I am the district head of one. Let me first and foremost appreciate the GOC and other security agents for initiating this very important security meeting at this very time. The meeting is timely because we're in the rainy season and most of us will be going to the farm to start cultivating our land for our crops to be planted. The purpose of this meeting today, I believe, is how do we go about curtailing the issue of attack, how our farmers would be allowed to go to farm and farm their crops, and then up to the time they will harvest. And I have heard from a lot of us here talking actually of what has happened, but what is the solution? I think few people have said these are the solutions we should adopt. Before I go into that, sir, over the years, we've been having engagement like this, just like someone have said. Resolution has been considered, and then implementation seems to be the problem. If we go through our records, both at the security level, at the government level, at the NGOs that have also been engaging us, you will discover resolutions upon resolutions upon resolution that have been taking place, but it seems we have not been following or adopting those resolutions. And I would like to call on the security agents to go back and look at their record and see what have we been discussing, what have the resolution have we accepted, both farmers and then herders, that up to today we are still having the same problem. If we do that, it may help us. Secondly, I would like to tell my friend, the Magbam of Jos South, that cattle are very important to a Fulani man. Life is very important to everybody. If cattle have been killed or have been roasted, I have that belief that the security agents are into it, investigating it to know who are those that have killed these cattle. And at the end of it, if we find those that have done that, will be prosecuted and be asked to compensate, to pay for those animals that have been killed. And then they should be patient with them, with those that their animals have been killed. If a bureau man or whoever has been killed, should we also say we need compensation? We will say let the security agent investigate who has done that so that he will be prosecuted. When we talk of compensation for animals, should we also be talking of compensation of those that have been killed, human beings that have been killed? If it is so, government should also look at it from that perspective. They should compensate this aspect, they should also compensate that aspect. And if we go like that, it means human being, nobody can compensate a life of a human being. The only thing I will advise is that whoever has done that, let the security agent investigate and arrest those that have done that, have done it, and then be asked to pay. Let me say this particularly to Jos South. I would like to actually appreciate my youth leaders in Jos South in particular, that they have been so patient, and we always appreciate them. When something like this happens, we always make sure we calm nerves, we appeal, even though we still have those that they don't have that mind of exercising patience. But a lot of the youths of Jos South, they have that mind of patience and wait for the security agents to look into what has happened. So many years back, a lot of things has been happening. If we, the leaders, have not been trying our best to calm nerves, I believe to...
Truly speaking, we've spoken a great deal, and I must say that I really appreciate that the GOC has considered it necessary that we should all meet. When you suggested Riom, it was the first time that it was suggested we should hold the meeting anywhere outside Rukuba, and I was very, very surprised. But much later when I was told that the meeting has been shifted to this venue here. And I think we've discussed a great deal of great things, and I must say that I appreciate what the GOC has done. I want to take us back to a meeting that someone called. That meeting was called in Barikin Ladi, and it was on the last day of Ramadan of this year. That was the day that the Muslims were anticipating Salah the next day. The meeting was called for very late in the evening on that day, and a lot of people were invited. Among those that were there was the commander of Operation FF in Riom, the commander of Operation FF in Barikin Ladi, the CAN chairman in those local governments, the Ardos, the traditional rulers. All of us were invited to that meeting, and they said the meeting was going to start at about 6 o'clock in the evening. I was wondering if I had to leave Ganawuri at 5 o'clock and go for a meeting in Barikin Ladi at 6 o'clock. What time will I come back to Ganawuri? But anyway, I said I will go and see or hear what will happen. So at about that time, then when we got in there, at 6 o'clock nothing had started. It was getting on 7, at about 7:15. Then I saw food coming in, cooked food, meat, tuwo, rice, whatever. I said, what is going to happen here? There were so many Muslims. The Muslims hadn't hadn't broken their fast. So it was now time for them to break the fast. And all of us as Christians, all of them as Muslims were in that hall. And so the person who convened that meeting stood up and said, he is calling that feast because he is remembering what our parents of old used to do. They will eat together in one place, drink together in one place, do everything together. And at Christmas, the Muslims will go to the Christians' homes to go and eat. At Salah, the Muslims, the Christians, will go to the Muslims' houses to go and eat and to chat and do whatever. But it is no longer the case. What has happened? He said he wants everybody to take whatever he wants to eat that evening, and to know that his brother is also going to take what he wants to eat. And at the end of the day, we should forgive one another, reconcile with one another, and behave like people who know and appreciate what our parents did in their own time when we were still very small and we didn't really know what the world was talking about. So we ate and we drank. And truly speaking, I didn't leave Barkin Ladi until about 10 o'clock in the evening. But by the grace of God, I got home very safely, no problem, no disturbance. So, I am just trying to think how our parents used to live and what has happened. We are talking about 21 years ago when we had problems in our areas here. And 21 years ago and up to now, we are still in the same problems. Haba, let us consider this now. What is the matter? Can't we leave this thing behind us? We deserve more than this. We deserve better than this. Now, wherever we are, whatever district we are in, we have the Fulani, we have the natives. For Christ's sake, is it not possible that all the time, if there's any problem, we can call ourselves together, sit down and discuss our problem and forgive and forget, so that we can go on as people who really love and fear God? Must we always keep the same thing, waiting for the GOC to call us before we come here and start to talk some of the things that we don't even want to hear? Please let us go back home and initiate something that is going to make it possible for all of both of us to sit down together all the time to discuss those things that are really bothering us. Let us know what we can do and then come back and give a report to the GOC. And I want to believe that if there's anything he wants me, for example, to learn from what somebody else over there has been able to do, he will call us. And I'm sure I will come and listen. And by the grace of God, things are going to be better for me, just like they are better now for that man who was able to come and tell him. So please, gentlemen, there are ladies too, let us go back and go and consider that, truly speaking, we deserve better than this in our communities. Why must it always be fighting, insults, abuses all the time, without us saying the good things that maybe the next door neighbor has been able to do for us? Always fighting. I don't think we are really going to get anywhere with that type of thing. So please, let us learn to forgive ourselves. Let us learn and know that if we don't work together, then we are working against each other. And that will not help us at all. Thank you very much for listening to me. I want to believe that at the end of everything, God is going to take everybody back home safely. Thank you very, very much.
On the relative gains of the peace and security that we've been having in some parts of the state, a lot have been said. There is nothing I would say that people have not said. But one thing I want to say is to remind us that conflict is man-made. People make conflicts. So people are the agents of conflict, people are the means of conflict, and the ends of conflict are people. So if conflicts are man-made, it also means that peace is man-made. So equally, people are the agents, means, and ends of peace, and likewise the development that comes thereafter. One thing is certain, our father have said it. In the past, it wasn't like this. How did we get it wrong? But one thing is so certain, is that it must never continue like this. But we have an opportunity to transform the situation. If we are not able to transform the situation now, the generations coming will transform it. And unfortunately, if we do allow them to change the narratives, some of the children will curse the memories of their fathers and their grandfathers for not doing what they should be able to do. One thing is certain: peace is what people can do for themselves. The women leader said something, that our security forces are known to have performed so well when they go for peacekeeping outside. Perhaps because the contexts are a bit different. Here you're dealing with a situation that is not a clear-cut war. And for this situation to be addressed, one thing I know in this field is the fact that sustainable peace is community-driven. It is what people of these respective communities decide to do. Peace can be facilitated from outside, just like the GOC has succeeded in bringing us here, creating a platform for us to talk. But the sustainability of this peace depends ultimately on us, people of the communities. If we don't resolve to do the right thing and give peace a chance, we'll continue to move in cycles. A lot of us here have been saying we know the perpetrators. Perhaps I believe that after now, we will go and tell our security agencies who are these perpetrators. I cannot count the number of people who have been saying we know who are the perpetrators. So if you know, tell the securities who are these perpetrators. And interestingly, nobody has been able to mention that we know. So it means the solution is in our hands. So the final question is, are we truly determined to build peace in our communities? Someone said he has attended over 300 peace meetings, and yet we are still attending peace meetings. Let's tell ourselves the truth. And if we don't want to address it now, for the sake of conflict, let's do something so that they can appreciate our memories.
The word GOC and peace had the highest number. Everybody is talking about peace. I want to ask you, are you in peace with yourself? All of us that are gathered here. Now, there's nothing new one will say that has not been said. But I just want to point out 2-3 things. One of my youths said something. You see, in life, in a situation like this, if you come here with a made-up mind that what you are doing is the thing that is right, I am telling you, even God comes down from heaven and stands in front of you that you are wrong, you will not agree. But if you come with a neutral mind, that is telling ourselves the truth that we are talking about. If you come with a neutral mind, hear the other side of the story, you will know where you are wrong. A footballer does not know where he is wrong. It is somebody who is watching that will tell him where he is wrong. My father here has said something. Of all our brothers, the Fulanis that are here, the oldest of them that is here, I want to throw this question to you. And our other brothers, the Birom that are here, the oldest, I will throw the same question to you. What our father here said was, when you were small, Christmas, the Fulanis, the Hausas, they come to eat in your house. When it is Salah, you go to eat in their house. They were living in peace. And one thing I know is that as a child, you will hear your father more. You will hear your mother more. Whatever your father tells you, you feel that is correct. Any other person from outside, you'll be doubting whether that person is right or wrong. That means if our parents of those days, they were living in peace and they were teaching us to live in peace, and we are not living in peace, then we are bad students. Because I am sure none of us here, when you were small, that your parents were teaching you how to go and fight, how to go and steal, how to go and kill. I'm sure there was none. Let me borrow his word. So where did we get it from? Those of them in operations here, ask them sometimes a year, 2 years, they never see their family with their eyes. All that they are doing is because they want you and I to sleep with our 2 eyes closed. But we don't want to hurt them. There are no spirits that you think anything that is happening they should know. If you don't tell them, they won't know. They are not spirits. I can't remember, the person was mentioning, if you come to the house, this thing is stolen today, tomorrow another thing is stolen. It will get to a time that you will call all your families and say, who is doing this thing? And another person said, when you come back from outside and you meet 2 of your children fighting, there and then you flog them and probably call them to order. What happened? That will take about 10-20 minutes and you've resolved that. But the issue of stealing, it might take you 3, 4, 5 days to find out. So don't say because Mr. A came with a problem to the security agencies and that problem is a thing that can be resolved within, they can investigate and find out within a day or 2. And Mr. B, when it comes with his own, in his own case, it might take up to a week or more. I say, okay, when this one brought his own, within 2 days they solve it. My own now, they are just taking sides. You begin to conclude within yourself. It's not the best. I'm not ready to stand here and start talking much. But of the truth, if we help these people we are seeing in uniform, everybody will go to sleep with his 2 eyes closed.
And that is why Plateau is standing today. Our GOC, who is the brain behind this intercourse, you are an avatar, the man that has seen the future with definite clarity. We are conscious of why we are here today. It shouldn't have been here. It was planned for it to happen in Rio. Why is it not in Rio? Because of insecurity. Because of the insecurity in the land. Peace is an issue of life. Security is a profoundly thought-provoking work. And God Almighty has given us the best to work and succeed. Today, my heart bleeds profusely because as it is now, I just buried it.
Speaking, the events, what happened in the last few days are disturbing. Nobody is happy with it. And I want to say here boldly that the solution lies with all of us here. We have to work for peace and ensure that we stop what is going on now. We have to reverse it back. Because if you don't do that, it will continue to escalate. And only God knows where it will lead us to. Please, henceforth, all infractions must be reported to the security agencies. If you are aggrieved, don't take laws into your hand. Take your complaint to the security agencies and they will look into it and justice will be served. You cannot resort to self-help. And let me say here boldly again, there's no justification for anybody to take another person's life. It is ungodly. I'm very happy to hear from the CAN and from the GNI. All of us, we are all creation. God created us. And as a result, we don't have any right to take anybody's life. Let that stop henceforth. And at the same time, all other infractions are also condemnable. You don't have any right to take person's life. You don't have any right to pursue people to where they are farming and kill them in their farms. Or you lay ambush, you kill them. And at the same time, we don't have any right to kill cattle or to kill herders. Please, let us be mindful of whatever we are doing. Anything we are doing it wrongly. And we have to stop it. Let me give this assurance. All the security agencies in the state, we are working together and tirelessly and to ensure that peace in the state. For a long time, we have been enjoying peace. All of us here, we are all witnesses to it. Then why should all these things happen now? Please, let us contribute our quota to the peace. As the executive governor of the state is working for peace of the state and all the security agencies in the state, I'm giving you this assurance. We are not happy, and we are always happy when there is peace. And what we are discussing here, we are not wasting our time. Only God knows. Somebody make a remark that if not for some of this engagement, things will have gone out of hand. Yes, and I believe that. So please, don't let us rubbish what we are doing here. What we are doing here is a very good engagement, and God will continue to help us. So please, that is my appeal to all of us. And as we are going into, as you can see now, rain is falling, and people must go back to farm. Please, all this senseless attack, let them stop. When people go to their farm, we are going to try everything possible to ensure that we protect our farmers, we protect everybody. But don't let us take human life. And I believe I'm loud and clear. Thank you, and God bless.
Peace. I will therefore use his mandate here to extend my appreciation to the General Officer, Commanding 3rd Armored Division, Rukuba, who is equally the Chairman of Operation Safe Haven. I want to appreciate you because you have worked dearly for peace. This is my second time attending your sensitization program on peace. This is indeed a welcome development. Peace, if you want peace, you will get peace. The Bible said, blessed are the peacemakers, and you will be blessed by his grace. Today, a lot of emphasis being made here that are the causes of our crisis in this state are destruction of crops or farmlands, cattle rustling and stealing, and of course, mining, which has come of late. All this, to me, certainly are predicated on lack of respect. Respect. When we respect each other, when we respect our laws, we have laws. Do we respect the laws? When you respect the law did not say you should stray into somebody else's farmland. The law prohibits stealing. The law did not say you should rustle cows. The Lord has stopped you from doing so many things. Now, things happen. And we as community dwellers, we as citizens of Plateau State, we live together, we interact together. Now, if somebody is a lawbreaker, you watch him breaking the law. Have you reported him to the law enforcement agents? Have you arrested him at your level as community people? Arrest him as law-abiding citizens. Hand him over to the law enforcement agents. By doing that, the law enforcement agents will receive him and do the proper thing. Reciprocally, the law enforcement agents are expected, when you receive these people from the citizens, go and do due diligence, go and do justice. Some people say the law enforcement agents, by the time you suffer, you hold, you arrest somebody, hand over to them before you reach home, like somebody was saying here. One of the speakers here who spoke during the interactive session said that by the time you hand it over to the law, before you reach your house, the criminal inkling is back home. So you become demoralized. So the job is two ways, the citizens and the law enforcement agents. We have a lot of work to do. When we reciprocate each other, then the work will go. But when one person does it and another man maligns the journey or the process, then the other person definitely will become demoralized and he will not do the job again. And then it will give room for these reckless, lawless people to continue to perpetrate problems, and then there will be crisis. The crisis is not about the Fulanis and the farmers. Somebody said here that the farmers and the Fulanis, the crop raising, they are both farmers. The one raises crop, the other one raises animals. And we need them for food. Without either of them, we will have problem. So, when these two people coexist peacefully, there will be room for joy, room for happiness, enough food for us to eat. But when problem is created at the background, at that level between these two people, bet me there will be problem perpetually. Perpetually, because hunger breeds problem. When a hungry man, they say, is an angry man. And when there is no food, definitely he will go fighting. So I cannot imagine a sane person, a normal person, will go and push his cows into crops, realizing that this is where somebody painfully bought fertilizer at whatever rate. He has been arranging the farm right from the dry season, removing them, tilling the land to the stage of virtually harvesting the crops. Then one rascal, one young fellow will just bring in cows and push them there. Definitely, this thing will provoke anger. And once anger is provoked, the tendency of clashes become imminent. So, what am I saying? In view of this, I want to call on the stakeholders, the leaders who are here, particularly our community leaders. Everybody who has attended this workshop, like the leader in Riom said this earlier, all of us living here, when we go back home, we are going to become teachers. Let us be grassroots teachers in our own way. Educate the people on what we have learned here. Educate the people on what we have been instructed here. The problem is that some of us, by the time we part from here, everybody goes and wrap his papers, whether seminar papers, whether workshop papers, and you dump it. You don't educate your people. They will remain in those rooms until nothing happens. So you have to also extend the knowledge you have to them. Then we know that they will be educated, they will be enlightened, certainly. So I am calling on the leaders. You are now teachers from today. You are not just teachers. Those who steal these cows, those who even destroy crops, are not all people. They are younger men. And it behoves on you to instruct them, to detail them into moral upbringing in a manner that they shouldn't be doing this kind of thing. But when we let loose these young men, when we don't follow them with discipline at that level, and you say the police is there, the military men are there, they will not do all the job. Charity begins at home. We have a lot of duty to do. Until we do this, we will create avenues, we will create enablement to engender peace, without which we will continue to be coming for talk shop, and this talk shop is becoming too many. It has been recurring. I remember some of us were younger when this crisis set in, but now we are growing older. The crisis has not given way. It is worrisome, and we wouldn't want to die without arresting this crisis situation. Please let us arrest it once and for all so that there will be peace. When we returned from our NYC in the early 90s, in fact, you could trek from here to any part of Jos. There was no time for sleep. It was 10 p.m. that we would be going out to jalopy around town. But today, once it is 8 o'clock, people become chickens. You are already packed in your room. Are we happy like that? Please, we have stake, all of us gathered here. And I want us to extend this stake out there so that at the end of the day, Plateau will be a place. We are always on the pages of paper, Plateau again, 6 down, and so on and so forth. I think it is not a very good impression. We are saying we were a peace, in short, we are a peace and tourism state. But that thing is eluding us. And when it eludes us, definitely even the investors will be scared to come to Plateau State to invest. Let us pray. Let us work hard and return the peace to Plateau so that Plateau will be a nation to be admired. God bless us. Thank you.
A long way speaking to ourselves. Before I start, I would like to disabuse our minds. There was a comment made by one of us that we have been speaking and speaking and speaking for so many years. I assure you it is better to speak than for guns to be fired. Ukraine and Russia have been fighting for the past almost 4 years, I think now, yes, or 3 years. Right now, they are supposed to be speaking in Turkey. Whether those talks are going on, I wouldn't know. But the fact is that there is no war that has ever been finished without people speaking. So we must continue to speak with ourselves. The difference is that when we come to speak, are we coming with the belief that we are ready to agree to have peace and move forward, like Major Gongu said, or you just want to just come and listen to the talk shop? If we have been speaking for 24 years and nothing has happened, then that means that we have not been sincere to ourselves as a people. That is just the fact. 20-something years we have been speaking. Someone said that you have been speaking 300 times. So for those 300 times, you couldn't find a solution. The problem is with us. So let us first of all agree that we are all human beings. Human life is sacred, and human lives must not be taken for whatever reason. We all agree with that. Whether it is an indigent, a Fulani man, whoever it is, human life is sacred. So once we come with a common purpose that we are coming to speak and agree to live in peace, we are going to achieve a lot. Because we go back, the crisis continues again, somebody destroys a farmland, somebody kills a cattle, and so many things. Well, this thing keeps on going over and over and over again. Now, it is pertinent to state that there are crisis merchants who are benefiting from all this. When one of the youth spoke and said one of the things that triggered this was somebody was coming from a mining site and was shot. There are 2 stories to this. Someone says it was an armed robbery attack, and that person said it was Fulani. But one thing that we should realize is that the gentleman who said it said he was coming from a mining site. Mining is illegal and banned. So that person was doing something wrong in the first place. However, it has looked so normal that it was coming from a mining site. So in the first place, let us not do wrong things, because if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, wrong things will happen. Mining is banned, and until it is regulated and the ban lifted, nobody is supposed to be mining. Now, with this crisis that has happened, of course, yes, our focus has now shifted to making sure that communities are safe. And some people are now having the opportunity to carry out this illegal mining. This is the way crisis merchants keep on trying to cause confusion so that they benefit illicitly from all these issues, and the community bears the brunt for this. And this will stop. Now, I will always call on everybody that there's a need for peace. Where there are criminals, let us fish out the criminals and pass the information to us. Before I continue, I'm going to give out my number now, so please, you can bring out your phones and take down the number. If you have any information or anything whatsoever, you can send me a message, you can call me, you can send anything on WhatsApp. My number is 0813 615 3813. I say again, but the people have to be alive to enjoy the land. Somebody came and said we should tell ourselves the truth. You said so many things, but you did not tell us the truth. We're here to listen to ourselves. So whatever it is, let's know what it is. It's okay, it's my number, so you can, no need to try again. You are sure you have the number. There's something I want to also mention. There were issues I was spoken about, foreign herders coming in. That is true. I would like to request that the local government chairman look into the possibility of having biometric capture of everybody in their local government areas. Not just the Fulanis, but everybody, so that it's not discriminatory. Once you have this, the same thing, you can actually now use it, build your database, and have the cattle that people have. And once this is done, it is easy to know when people come in. And once you have foreign herders or anybody who is a stranger, not even just herders, we've had situations of armed robbers coming in from Kaduna, coming in from Zaria that we're able to take care of. So it is not just the Fulani people, but a lot of criminals come in to take advantage of all this, including illegal miners. So I will implore that please look into this, see how you can have a database of everybody in your local government, having a biometric capture, which you can now use for your purpose. This incident started with the one of the issues, the cattle rustling on Monday, from around Barikin Ladi to Riom. I actually went there myself, and a lot of cows were rustled. We were able to recover a good number, but the issue was that some people took advantage of that. Why is it that some cows are stolen, and before you know it, they have entered one building and they have slaughtered them, they have butchered them? That is theft. Somebody is actually stealing. The fact is that there are always bad eggs anywhere. As it is said, out of every 12, there's one Judas. So if you look at our number, you know exactly how much criminals we can have among ourselves. And it takes just one person. Let's assume, like someone mentioned, we had peace for 10 years, from 2001 to 2010. And then one criminal somewhere starts going to steal cows. He steals 1, 2, 3. Of course, one person is bitter. And then that person on his own part, rather than reporting to security agencies, decides to take laws into his hands and goes against someone else. And before you know it, things start escalating. And before you know it, it has gotten to a stage that we can no longer speak to ourselves. And then the killings begin, the cattle rustling continues, the destruction of farmlands. It is unnecessary. At the end of the day, the quality of life is lost. We must learn to live amongst ourselves. We must learn to live peacefully with ourselves. Children have been born in the last 24 years into conflicts, and the only thing they have known is conflicts. Like our royal father said, back in the days, our families, Christian, Muslim, indigenous, herder, everything, we looked forward to celebrate festive seasons, because we will know we'll go to someone else's house and eat a special kind of food, a special kind of rice. It was something children look forward to. How did it stop? That's part of what the problems. And why can't it start again? We have identified that yes, it has stopped, but who will now start inviting the other person, looking at the other person like a brother, like family, and starts. And before you know it, rather than having the escalation of hostilities, why can't we have the escalation of peace and have us finding ways to do good things and kind things to one another? These are things that we must do. Someone spoken about the weak judicial system. Well, I have had an intense discussion with the Commissioner of Justice, and as much as possible, they will make sure that the things are being done rightly. I will also implore the local government chairman to, in conjunction with the sector commander and community leaders, look at how we can have a committee comprising of the farmers, the herders, because there will be infractions, that can look into all these things so that if someone's farm is trampled upon, we can assess it, work out a compensation, that person is paid. If something happens to cattle, compensation should be paid. And once this happens, I want to assure you that if you are able to do this for 3 months consecutively, there won't be any problems again. But these are things that we must look into. Additionally, it doesn't have to be the GOC to call a stakeholders meeting. We can call meetings down the ladder, even if you have your own hamlet of 3, 4, 5 houses. As long as you have different people, come together, even if you are just 10, and speak. And you'll be amazed at how much can be achieved by speaking. So on this note, I equally want to call on the traditional rulers, the local government chairman, the sector commanders do this, but at all levels, always call everyone together and speak regularly. When you speak, you're able to say, this is what is the problem and how can we address it? What can actually be addressed by maybe just paying 10,000 naira is what snowballs into situations where people are now taking their lives. And that must equally stop. Our children too, like I said, they're being brought up in this terrible crisis. We must also stop transferring the hatred, the deep-rooted disappointments and whatever it is to our children. Like Major Ngugo also said, you never heard our parents in those days talking bad about the other people. So why is it now getting to the stage that we're now doing this? So we must bring up our children in the way that everybody can live in peace. Additionally, there are the issues of having underage grazing. Underage grazing is banned, and the sector commander ensure that when this happens at any time, those things should be stopped immediately. The cattle kept until somebody can come and build them. And then it's also part of the things. They now say the children are carrying out, giving terrible words when grazing, being belligerent. It's all part of it. Let us train our children to always be respectful. I know it can be very annoying. You see somebody who is 10, 11 speaking to somebody who is almost 70 in very, very rude manners. But nonetheless, we shouldn't allow those kind of things to escalate into situations that we cannot overcome. When we go back to our communities, please, we are taking this back. The spirit and the way you take this back is what matters. If we go back and we speak positively, that we had a positive meeting, and for us to live together, to also live peacefully, these are the things that we must do. If you go back and speak in that way, there will be progress. Like I said, the issue is we do not believe that these stock shops is going to solve the problem. And if we don't believe in it, it will not. The fact is, we cannot kill ourselves. Everybody will not die. Even if the military leaves and we start killing ourselves, we're not going to kill everybody. And in the very, very random event that everybody is killed, then somebody from somewhere else who has absolutely no idea will now come and inherit everything. As they say, when two brothers fight over their father's property, it is a stranger that will come and inherit it. So please, let's always realize that we can talk to ourselves and achieve much. In that place, latest by Monday. So sector commander, let me know what it will take and clear that place. That place must be clear for people to pass. For the women leader who came to speak, I want to assure you that women will never ever have to fight for our land. We, the men, will always protect you, and the security agencies are there to protect you. There's always the common thing that is said that yes, the armed forces go outside Nigeria and excel. That is true. The fact is that we're equally doing the same thing here. When we're outside the country, the enemy is known. But inside Nigeria, the enemy is within us here. And there's nobody that's enemy is written on his forehead. Even within us here, there are people who give information to the adversaries. And also, we are fighting a different kind of war. There was a situation that they were able to monitor the way a lot of these people build up. And one of the things that they do, they never stay in one place. For instance, one motorcycle takes off from Sanga carrying 3 people. As it keeps on going, it gets to another community, another motorcycle comes. They get there, by the time they get to Riom, there are about 20 motorcycles. By the time they get to Jos, they have become 50 motorcycles, all carrying 3 people. They go to where they want to do their harm, carry out that harm, and then turn back. And before you know it, in 30 minutes, everybody has disappeared. Same place they have where they all go and hide their weapons. Not in one place, in different places. And that is why we need you as a community to always pass the information to us. If you see something, say something. Let us know. You always come and say, we know who they are, we know who they are. But you never tell us, well, at least now you have my number. Please pass any information that you want, that you feel you can. I will not trace your number. Pass that information and I assure you that something will be done about it. I also agree, yes, women and children are the ones that bear the brunt of all these issues. It's most unfortunate, but we will keep on ensuring that we're putting our best until this thing is put to a stop, finally. Yes, Alhaji Bello Adamu said something very, very instructive. We need to draw a line. We need to forgo the past. It is not easy, but you need to do it at one point. Where are we going to keep on going back and forth with these cycles of violence? The answer is no. Everybody here knows somebody who has died, somebody who has been killed, or a family member. The pain is deep, the pain is much, but it is not by killing more people that will cause or creating the situation for more people to be killed that will make us get out of all this. So it is extremely important that all this stop. Sometimes we have communities shielding criminals, especially mining. We've had situations where there are people who are mining, we are going after them, and then women come almost naked to prevent us. Of course, we cannot attack the women, but why would you do that? These people are criminals. And it is one little thing that goes and causes another problem. The fact, like I said, is mining is illegal. Mining is banned. It is bringing in quick money right now. The crisis that it can cause is unquantifiable. Our children are no longer going to school because they are mining. One day, the mining will be over. And if they have not prepared for the future, that means we're equally breeding criminals that will cause problems in the future because there will be nothing to mine, there will be no money coming in, and what they will resort to is becoming criminals. So we must equally make sure we talk to our wards that education is key, they must go back to school, and this Pyrrhic victory of having mining and making some quick bucks out of this is just for a period. It is going to stop eventually. Solutions to the crisis that we have been talking about. That is the major issue, and I want to thank the Bongre for bringing that up. What are the solutions? We've said a lot, but what are the solutions? And like somebody spoke about the MOU, I agree with that. There should be an MOU, and I want to implore the local government chairmen, the traditional rulers, and the sector commanders to come up with how we agree to live together. And then the leaders of the communities should come together, sign the MOU, and we will implement it. So when that is coming up, we should look at what is to be signed and the implementation timelines, what is supposed to be doing, how we're supposed to implement it, so that once something, we don't follow a timeline, we know that we're not implementing it to the letter. And then we can do something about that immediately. designated as holy sites by the communities. If there any place that is a holy site, by no means should grazing take place in that place. This is for the sector commanders. So take very good note about that. Sustain peace, it must be done by the communities and everyone in the communities. And the way we can do this is agreeing to live together, agreeing to be peaceful, and ensuring that we speak to ourselves from time to time. Even if a farm is destroyed, cattle are rustled, there is somebody who is in charge, and there's somebody who has the cattle or who has the farm. We must be able to speak to ourselves, and then that committee I'm talking about for compensation should be able to step in and let's see what can be done. Indeed, it is very, very painful for somebody to, yes, have till his land, buy fertilizer, and do so many things, and then at the point of harvest, that farm is destroyed. Likewise, it is also very painful if somebody has cattle, brought up some cows from when they were young, they're almost like family, almost like children, and then those things are slaughtered, just like that. So everybody has the pain that he's feeling. As they say, it's the person that wears the shoe that knows how it pinches. So a farm is destroyed, somebody feels the pain. Cattle are killed or rustled, somebody feels the pain. But the result is not for you to take laws into your hands, but ensure that you follow established procedures to be able to ensure that you report to the security agencies, and then I assure you the right thing will be done.